Hello there lads and lassies, welcome to the Scottish Geeks. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of an impromptu review of the Doctor Who Christmas special. Normally when I do these reviews I usually do them minutes after I've actually watched the episode, but as it was Christmas Day I had other things on my mind. For example, the fact I couldn't move from eating so much, and I wanted to watch it again anyway because it's one of those episodes that you kind of have to really watch twice. And as the episode was called Twice Upon a Time, I thought, why not? That's a bit apt. That's just something you have to do. Anyway, so basically there is a lot of people out there going on about the feminist agenda and blah 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 and how the first Doctor was so sexist, etc, etc. But let's not just throw it away for the moment. Let's look into that a little bit once we get to that stage. Now, first off, I thought the opening of the episode was phenomenal. The way they did it, the way they had the original print of the first Doctor going to the moon base, etc., and then having a conversation with Mondasian Cyberman, then opening it out into our large widescreen HD format with the new version of the first Doctor there. And then obviously you see the point of the last episode where you see the Doctor meeting the Doctor and all that. But yeah, it was interesting to see how the two Doctors reacted to each other with the latest Doctor, Peter Capaldi. Whatever Doctor number he is, who can say these days? I know we've got the televised version of it, but there may have been other regenerations we don't know about. Who knows? I mean, the whole thing about that is the Doctor lies. But anyway, so the two Doctors sort of hit off one another, and then we get the arrival of the World War I soldier. And, of course, title rolls, and then, of course, we get another recap. This time, it's the soldier's point of view, and he gets kidnapped, or whatever happens, and eventually meets up with the Doctor, with the greatest line of the show, where he says, is either one of you a doctor? And Peter Capaldi goes, are you trying to be funny? I mean, that sort of set the tone of the episode for me. So, of course, they go into the TARDIS, and probably everyone's seen that point by then, because of course they spoiled that well before Christmas time, where the first Doctor goes in, and he is rather disappointed by the look of the TARDIS. He's, oh my god, is this my TARDIS, blah 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 blah. But anyway, we have a little bit of a go-between between the Doctor and the first Doctor, and the soldier kind of standing there being the everyman going, what the hell is going on here? And we get introduced to the fact the Doctor's drank brandy once in about 1500 years apparently. So what happened to him being over 2000? Anyway, well, technically billions of years old now. But so we get the first point of sexism about the Doctor, where he's like, this place could do with a good dusting. Obviously Polly's not here. Now, people are saying that it's sexist and everything like that, but take it in a different context, okay? Take it in a slightly different context. What if Polly did that off of her own back and the Doctor just missed the fact that Polly wasn't there? You know? Maybe Polly was just one of those people, maybe possibly slightly obsessive compulsive and just dusted the place for no apparent reason, wasn't asked by the Doctor. Nobody thinks about that kind of thing, you know? So who's to say it's a feminist point of view? You can take it any way you like. It's just one of those things. Because the Doctor's race has been, as they said in a previous episode, have no concept of gender. Bullshit. But, yeah, I mean, what's to say that Polly didn't just do that? And the Doctor he was a typical sort of kid at that point, for the Gallifreyan age, and just didn't like to tidy his own room and had someone else do it for him. You know, as he's like, I'm not dusting, but I have no problem if anyone else wants to do it. And, oh, look, Polly's doing it. All right, whatever. So yes, anyway, so they go through this whole thing where, you know, they're talking to each other about stuff, and the new Doctor kind of like, don't talk like that. People are going to tell you all the time not to talk like that. But again, the first Doctor, when he introduces himself to the soldier, actually mentions that the other Doctor's his nurse, and says, well, I know this is a newfangled concept, but the elderly can be put to work too. And the new Doctor Peter Capaldi gets a bit upset with him. Again, taking that as a point of sexism, but based on the World War I uniform, that would be that soldier's ideology. So to force a new ideology onto him is something that the Doctor wouldn't have done back then. So he is basically just going ahead and trying to relate to this character who is from a time where sexism was rife. So, is the Doctor sexist, or is he just pandering to the age of when the soldier came from? Is he just trying to be like that? Moving on from that, though, we reach a new place where they meet Bill again, or Bill, possible Bill, where they are these rather substandard glass creatures called the Testimony, who go ahead and basically spoil the entirety of the Doctor's life for him, but we all know from personal experience of watching Doctor Who that the Doctor will not be able to retain this information, and hence why he can't remember that ever happening to him, which doesn't explain something that happens later on, but we'll get into that later on. So basically, they escape from the place, and Bill meets everyone, blah, blah, blah. They try and figure out who these Testimony people are, and they head over to what they call the largest database in the universe. Turns out to be a Dalek repository of info, basically. You remember Rusty, the Dalek, the good Dalek? Well, we meet him again, and basically the Doctor then finds out that there is nothing wrong with the Testimony. They are actually good. They basically go around recording people's memories in order to have another database of the combined history of the human race, which, when you consider it, would take them millennia. I mean, who do they decide? Who decides who's important? Who decides what memories are the best ones to take? Do they take only good people's memories, or do they take bad people's memories? I don't know. You know, it's weird. It's become some sort of gigantic glass human brain, filled with all these ideologies and good people, bad people. I don't even know anymore. So yeah. Anyway, so basically that's the end of the terror and the fright and stuff like that. But let's go back to the first Doctor again. There is a moment where Bill swears at the Doctor. It's actually quite a big swear for a Doctor Who episode. I've never heard this word in Doctor Who before. She calls the Doctor an arse, a bloody arse. At which point the first Doctor pops his head out of the TARDIS and says, any more language like that and you'll be in for a jolly good spanked bottom, my dear. Which basically brought a lot of levity to the show and stuff like that. But the first Doctor was very against swearing and violence and things like that. He was old fashioned. He was a brand new Doctor, fresh from Gallifrey, after being taught for years and years and years and years there was a proper way of doing things. He was a lord. He was a Time Lord. He was brought up in a certain way, and his granddaughter had the same speech as well. So basically, it's like a whole sort of, he's not going to do it. It's like a perceived threat that he learned on Earth in the era he spent the most time in, which was the 1960s. Is the Doctor sexist? Is that what we're going to say? Is he sexist? No, I don't think he is. I think he is using behaviour he learned from being at Time Lord Academy, running away to the 1960s, being there for such an amount of time, and pandering to people from that era. And that is basically why he is the way he is. In a personal note, he is not a sexist person, but he has learned that humans are that way, so the best way to communicate with them is to be that way. So, again, it's not a feminist thing, it's not a bad thing. The Doctor himself is not sexist, it's just a learned behaviour and how humans acted where he was at that point in time. Remember, he hadn't had much experience of humans at that point. The Peter Capaldi Doctor had been to thousands and thousands of different eras, learning millions of different things. His brain is absolutely full of information about how humanity is and how it reacts and the best way to be with people. The first Doctor, he doesn't have that. He's still brand new. He's a fresh Doctor. He may look old, but he's a fresh Doctor. He is the youngest of the Doctor. So anyway, all in all, the episode ended on a rather... Some people called it an emotional note. I didn't feel it, but that's just me. Where we find out that the soldier is a direct ancestor or direct predecessor of the Brigadier, Lethbridge Stewart. He's either the grandfather or the father. I'm not entirely sure which one it is. But yeah, we discover that the time that he was supposed to have died was the day of armistice, where all the soldiers on each side let down their weapons and had a good Christmas together and a bloody good football match, apparently. And the issue that I think I had personally with that was that the generation they're trying to get to the Doctor wouldn't have known about that. And I get that Mark Gatiss is really into his historical sort of drama, period dramas and things like that, or bringing them up to date. it didn't have the time it deserved for that moment. I think there should have been a little bit more time spent on that and a little bit less time spent on the glass creatures. I think the glass creatures could have been left out completely, and they could have made it all about that day where the Doctor and the Doctor were maybe discovering what it meant again, for the first Doctor to discover what it was like to be a Doctor of War, and for the Peter Capaldi's Doctor to discover what it was like to be a casualty of someone else's war, rather than being the person who ended it all, being one of the people in the line of fire. That kind of idea. Anyway, guys, I don't know what you thought of it, but let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of the episode. What do you think of this whole thing where people are going about the Doctor's sexist? What do you think of Jodie Whittaker as the new Doctor? I personally don't have an opinion yet. I want to see what she does first. Everyone hates the brand new Doctor. That is just the way of things. Because she's female? So what? Who cares? It's the Doctor. As long as she is the Doctor, then I'm fine with it. You know, as long as they don't muck up the basic premise of Doctor Who. The Doctor is the one who saves. The Doctor is good. The Doctor knows how to get out of most situations with the help of a sonic screwdriver, maybe sometimes without. Then I'm fine with it. Male, female, whatever. The next Doctor could be an animated cat for all I care, as long as it's still the Doctor. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. I'll be back next year with some more cool stuff. We've got some new reviews happening. We're going to be doing some awesome TV reviews. We're going to be doing so bad they're good movie reviews, or possibly so bad they're just terrible, and please don't watch them ever movie reviews. I'll be doing that maybe once a week or something. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you next time, but until then, bye bye.